Hello, I am in the mines and I wanted to make a video talking about how much I actually earn in the mining industry. So, in the mining offshore industry, underground roles that I've had over the years, I'll start off from pretty much when I first started back in 2023, I believe. 2023, I first started. My first role was a driller's offsider underground, diamond driller offsider underground, sorry. And I worked at a place called Leonora, Gwalia, and that was a gold mine. It's got some pretty deep history there, actually, Gwalia gold mine. And honestly, I lasted like a couple of weeks. It was nothing crazy. It was my first job in the mining industry because I worked with cranes back in New Zealand. Had to redo all my qualifications and everything from scratch. So I pretty much just took what I could, which was an entry level role. And this job I was on 35 flat. So 35 flat an hour. And I was making cleared, I think, around 2K, maybe 2-ish K a week cleared, which is insane. Like for FIFO work, I couldn't believe it. Like as time progressed, just how much I was actually getting paid back then was, and for the work you're doing is fucking crazy to me. I don't understand that. Drilling offsiding is like a great step into the FIFO industry for sure. It leads to some of the highest paying roles in the FIFO industry because a lot of underground roles do pay very good money. I have friends that are drillers underground and they're on 200 to 240K plus a year, and you got bonuses as well. So, the money you can earn as a driller is insane. And some of those bros did offsiding for like 3 years, 4 years, and then they became a driller. So it's definitely very good money underground if you stick it out. So that was my first role. And then I got on to my second role, which my second role was a rigger. So I was back with the cranes. Now rigging rates really do fluctuate all over the fucking place. So my first rigging rate in the mines was around 56 an hour flat. I was in a casual role, so I worked on shutdowns, and I worked with a company called Mammut long time ago. Don't work with them anymore. I have a lot of bros that work for them though. I would kind of work for them because that's the biggest crane company in Australia. That's the biggest crane company in the world, Mammoets. And it was pretty cool. Got some experience with some SPMTs and a couple other little things. All the cranes that I worked on, I've pretty much worked on before. A lot of levers, pretty much all levers actually. I'm pretty sure Mammoet only have levers. But yeah, ranging from like 650 and below, 650 ton range and below. And then my second role was another crane company. I won't say which one. And I've been with them over 2.5 years now. And they were around the same wage, but pretty much as I was in this company, I leveled up and I kept leveling up. So at the moment, my day shift rate out in, doing shutdown work is around 72 plus. And then my night shift rate is around 80-ish or 79 on night shift. So, very good money for rigging. So I'm clearing about, if I'm on days, around 3.8, and then on nights around 4.1, 4.2 cleared after tax. And then I'll go on to some of the other roles that I've had as well. So I've also worked offshore as a rigger scaffold rope access, and that was a very cool role. I've got some pretty cool experience offshore. I've had a couple roles offshore. So I had another one where I was off floor hand, and pretty much I was on around, I think it was $860 a day. That was the day rate, and that would only come up every now and again as they had like shutdowns and reworks and all of those sorts of things. And that was off another company called CCI, and we worked on Jadestone rigs, one specific rig, but I won't really talk about that. And then the other kind of offshore roles that I've had was obviously the rigging, scaffolding, rope access, which was, I was on around $118 an hour. That's probably the best rate I've ever had. Did that for a little while, which was awesome. Got some experience on some of the biggest rigs in Australia, so that was pretty cool as well. So it was around it was clearing around 6.4K a week on night shift. So that was night shift rate, 118. So yeah, I was clearing 6.4 a week. I would go out there for 3-week swings. So you're making like 18K in the hand, which was fucking 18K in the hand, which is insane. Very good money. Other roles that I've had as well was a stevedoor out in the mines. and that I'm on a 72 for days, and then on night shift is around 92. So that's pretty good money as well. And a lot of these roles just come from my rigging tickets. But obviously I've worked with cranes for, I've operated cranes as well for the last 8 or 9 years. I've been in and out of tower cranes, crawlers, mobiles, rigging, offshore, underground, out in surface mining, a lot of construction as well. So I've worked all over the joint. I've had a construction role where I'm working as a rigger on 86 an hour as well. So a lot of these roles, that I'm getting these rates on, very good rates for rigging. Now I don't really go for any jobs that I'm under $70 or $80 an hour, because to me it's just a waste of time. There's so much opportunity and work out there. So a lot of these roles, if I stuck at it, which I have a lot of time off to work on my business and social media and all of those sorts of things, but anywhere from 150k to 200k a year, I can be making on a 2-in-1 roster. If I was to work on a roster, which I choose to work casual more than anything else, you can make very good money. And I've made a lot of money in my time in FIFO already. I've invested a lot of it. I started a business. I bought a house, invested a lot of stocks and crypto as well. Invested a lot into myself also. And yeah, it's just insane the amount of money you can earn. Back in New Zealand, I was only on 50 to 60k a year, and I was operating tower cranes. I was on 32 an hour, and you wouldn't always get your 50-hour weeks. But out here, you're always getting your 84-hour weeks. So you're working a lot more, yes, but you're also working a lot less throughout the year. You're having bigger weeks, but you're spending more time at home, which is a plus. And you're paying no food, no accommodation, all of those sorts of things. So it's just a mad bonus when you're out here. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are all the roles and how much I've been paid over the years. I'll always be able to find 150 to 200k a year job as long as I keep working throughout the year, which most of the time I don't, because I choose the casual roles, so I can come in and out, so I can have like a month off and then I'll come back in for a month. There's so much shutdown work, there's so much stevedore work, offshore work, all of that sort of thing. So I'll never run out of work, especially since I've qualified and I know what I'm doing. I've been in the industry long enough. There's a lot of people that haven't been in the industry long enough that are very new to the industry that are getting jobs. And yeah, that's great. We need to train people. We need to get people in. But yeah, like a lot of these people are very green, very new to the industry. So it just goes to show that, even if you've been in the industry long enough and you have quite a bit of experience, if there is ever a downturn in the mining industry or whatever, you'll always be pretty good, because your connection, your experience will carry over to other companies, and you'll never kind of run out of work. So it seems, because they're going to chop all the inexperienced guys before you. They're going to chop all the people on visas before you if you aren't on a visa. So someone like myself from New Zealand, I didn't need a visa to come over here. But yeah, going from 35 flat an hour to then 118 an hour and 92 an hour and all of these kind of rates to me, is just fucking insane. There's so much money to be made out here. Forever grateful for these opportunities too. But, if you're trying to get into FIFO, these are the type of rates you can be making. And, full skilled trade qualified people would be on a little bit more than I am. Rigging's not really a trade, so people say, but I consider it a fucking trade, because I'd like to see someone read plans and pin steel all day and put up panels and, fucking drill holes and line bolts up and all of that shit, because it takes a lot of time to learn, to be honest. But yeah, so that's how much I've earned in the mines and what my kind of wages are and all of those sorts of things.